Last week I still had my crutches at work, and I actually fell. Hey guys, I just wanted to give another update. I'm currently about 3 weeks. Post-op tomorrow will be 3 weeks exactly. I actually texted my surgeon today and asked her when I just wanted to confirm that I could take the brace off. I've been in a straight leg brace, locked out for the past 3 weeks since surgery with walking. So today would literally be my first day walking with the brace unlocked. I'm actually going to take the brace off and show you guys what it's going to be like. I've actually started walking around today with it unlocked, and it's funny just because I know what I'm supposed to be doing, especially because this is part of my job, but I'm still finding myself walking as if my brace has been locked out. Just the patterns that you start to develop, kind of the bad habits that you develop for the longer you go with doing certain things. And obviously, when your brace is locked out, you just can't walk normally. You have to hike your hip a little bit. You have to swing your leg, maybe circumduct your leg and swing it outside a little bit just to try and get some clearance. So I'm going to kind of be sharing my thoughts about just what it's feeling like, taking off the brace and kind of walking for the first time without it, and trying to get this thing kind of moving more fluidly because it is really, really stiff right now. And just as a little bit of a backstory, again, even though I know what I'm doing in regards to ACL rehab. I see it every day for my patients, but also working through it myself. Last week, I still had my crutches at work, and I actually fell. I was standing there, and I think I reached down to grab something. Maybe I think my phone out of my pocket, and then I just lost balance. I think maybe I was taking a step or something like that, and because my knee can't bend in my brace, my foot clipped the floor, and I started falling forward. And it's ironic because I was actually thinking about it for the past few days about what would I do if I fell, and just so happened to be that I was pretty prepared for it, thankfully. I started kind of jumping on my right leg just to kind of hold my balance a little bit. I threw my crutch to the side. I consciously was aware of taking this left leg, kicking it up in the air while I fell forward and kind of fell into a push-up position. It was really scary, to be honest. I was kind of shaken up for the rest of the day. I was right next to my patient who saw me fall. Two of my coworkers ran up to help me up and make sure I was okay. Thankfully, I was, no damage was done or anything like that, but it was still a scary thing, and just the reality of the fact that even someone who understands ACL rehab, it can happen. So I urge any of you guys who are going through rehab yourselves, just really, really take your time. Be conscious of every step that you're taking. And then for those of you who are treating patients who are going through ACL rehab, make sure you encourage them to take their time as well. I actually had a second scary incident where I had to actually, we had some ice and snow coming through here randomly in December, which doesn't happen here too often, last week. And my wife, who typically has been helping me go to my car in the morning, couldn't because she had an important work call that she couldn't get out of. So I opened the door to go outside, and I kid you not, our sidewalk, our street was entirely filled with ice. So I could not have been walking at a slower pace and just being very, very conscious of every step that I took. But that was a really scary moment for me as well. And I had to scrape off the ice on my car while trying to make sure I didn't fall, trying to hold my balance with one crutch and using the other hand to kind of scrape it through. So that was a really frustrating day just because I was late to work. And just these are some of the normal frustrations that we might go through as patients going through ACL rehab. And for those of you who aren't aware, just things that ACL patients are going to be frustrated about. I did also wanted to share just like the fact that for me personally, I've been in the brace for about 3 weeks, which in the grand scheme of things really isn't that long, but I have been extremely frustrated with the brace. It's very draining. I've tried to block off time during my day to work out, even just doing some upper body. And I just found myself having little to no energy just because of the brace and just having to, I can't hold a lot of weight right now when I was in my brace locked out. So I could only do maybe, 20-pound curls, and I had to stand in place. Setting up the bench is really hard to just try to get a little bench press in there. And just the fact that, again, having the crutches, which I had up until last week, and then being in a locked brace, it's just extremely draining on the body. And by the time I go home for the day, I just want to, lay on the couch and elevate my leg. So these are kind of the current frustrations and the fears that I've had for the past few weeks. But I'm very excited to be able to take off the brace today and kind of start getting into the more aggressive parts of rehab. I can start mini squats, and I'll start filming a little of the exercise that I'm doing, because for the past few weeks, I've pretty much only been biking. I was cleared to bike, and then I can also a lot of straight leg raises and a lot of quad sets, a lot of electrical stimulation as well for my quads. Those are the things that I've been doing to kind of just make sure my quads are strong enough right now to hold me up for this moment of being able to take off my brace. So hopefully that offers you guys a little bit of clarity of what these past few weeks have been on. My quad actually is coming along pretty well. I do still have some stiffness in my knee, and that's still due to the swelling that I still have left over. But that's slowly getting better as well. Obviously, being on my feet all day at work doesn't really help the swelling. So each day it does swell a little bit at the end of the day. Go home, elevate it, and it gets better by the time I elevate it for a couple hours. So I'm going to show you guys kind of honestly how I'm walking right now, even though the brace is currently unlocked. And then you can see I have the hurdle set up behind me, which is going to help me hopefully normalize my gait pattern. I don't expect it to be perfect today, but hopefully at least you guys can see kind of the thought process, and I'll try and explain a little bit. So as far as I'm walking right now, I still, again, in my head, still feel like my brace is locked out. So when I walk, this is truly how I'm walking right now. So if I were to show you in the camera right now, taking a few steps, I'm still like gingerly walking, and I still have to I still feel like I'm not getting any knee flexion or bending. So I'm still walking with hiking my hip up, trying to make sure I get that clearance in there. Okay, and this is how I've been walking for a while. It feels a little better now just because I had been working on it a little bit today, but still not nearly what it should look like, obviously, without it on. So I'm actually going to pop the brace out brace off right now for the first time, and we'll see what happens. I have no idea what it's going to react like. We'll find out. All right. So just take a few steps first before I even get into the hurdle, just to kind of ease myself into it. And the biggest part that I feel right now, even right now trying to pick my leg up, is stiffness in the back. My hamstrings are extremely tight, just having not flexed my knee too often, actively particularly. I've done some heel slides and things like that, but nothing too active. And it actually doesn't feel too bad right now. I feel pretty stable. I don't feel like my knee's going to buckle on me or anything like that. Again, I've worked on enough quad strengthening to at least get my muscle tone up to pick it up. And when I try to really clear up, like right there, that's a lot of stiffness in front of my knee, just tightness again, due to some of the swelling that I still have. But I definitely feel way better out of the brace now. Obviously a little bit wobbly. All right, so I like to use the hurdles just to teach people that you should pick up your knee a little bit. It helps people to kind of overcome their fear a little bit, just to hopefully help to normalize their gait pattern. A lot of times people will say like a heel to toe gait pattern is pretty common to cue people on. So I'm going to kind of see how I feel doing this part of it. So I'm going to be taking one step at a time just to ease myself into it. Again, I still have some stiffness in my knee, which is why I'm going to be slowly picking it up. And I actually don't feel great doing that right now. So I'm going to actually ease into it a little more, just to kind of practice doing this. My knee is really stiff right now. I've worked about a 7-hour work day just trying to work through this. So I'm actually going to work on just here, clearing it, and then working on a little bit of kind of like active knee flexion with this walking. And if any of you are kind of working with patients, a lot of times you might have them do it with crutches, just to be safe for the first couple times. So that's what I would recommend, to be honest. Just because when I did the first step, I didn't feel very comfortable transitioning my weight all the way to my left leg, especially because this is a pretty big step. So I might just not try that today and just kind of work on a little bit of clearance. just to kind of get this thing grooving first. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to try it today. So sometimes I'll even just get this little bit of a weight shift. Yeah, a little bit of tightness in there. And I work on clearance back. And I'm a big fan. The whole time as I'm going through rehab, and what I encourage to a lot of my patients is listening to their bodies. You know, I tell them it's like your body will typically let you know when you're not ready to do something. And right now, you know, I tried the first one. I probably should have pulled back a little bit, but I wanted to try it. So even just here, a little bit of tightness in the front of the knee. And that's where the swelling is definitely still slowing me down a little bit. So when I go home today, I plan on elevating a lot. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to do as far as like what I'm going to practice today. And I might just do a little bit of walking. You know, I'm obviously still going to walk out very, very slowly. And my walking still is not going to be perfect for probably at least another few days until I practice this at home. But even then, just reminding myself to take, you know, I might take smaller steps at first, just working on that little bit of foot clearance and working on a heel to toe gait pattern. Okay. So hopefully you guys found that helpful a little bit. I honestly didn't know what I was going to feel like being off the brace for the first time since surgery for, you know, 21 days or so. But hopefully you guys found that helpful of just like walking people through the process. It's not something that you can force necessarily. Again, this is someone who understands the process of going through ACL rehab, and even for me, I just didn't feel comfortable continuously do that step. So I'm going to hold off a little bit, and I'll try again next week. Over the weekend, I'm just going to take some small steps at home, but try and stay off of my feet a little bit to try and get some swelling out of there. So yeah, this is my kind of week 3 update for you guys, and I'm kind of excited just because this is where, you know, I told you I've been frustrated with the brace, so I can finally dump it. And then now I feel like the rehab is actually going to really start. You know, I can start doing a little bit of mini squats, start working on my balance, working on glute strengthening, a little bit of hamstring strengthening, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to kind of take that next step for my rehab. So I appreciate you guys watching. Again, I really can't thank you guys enough for the support that you've given me. It's been a crazy ride. It's crazy. It's only been 3 weeks. Still a long road ahead. But I'm excited for kind of this next phase of rehab. Also, just lastly, for my bending, I got measured 2 days ago. I was at 121 degrees of active flexion, so I'm pretty happy about that being 3 weeks post-op. And I think my extension's at maybe 2 degrees of hyperextension. I have about 3 to 4 degrees, something like that on the other side, so it's almost there. So I'm definitely happy about the range of motion progress that I've been able to make. And I don't have any pain with it. It's just when I get to the end range, I just have a lot of tightness. And again, I just feel like it is due to the swelling that's in there. So yeah, hopefully you guys found it helpful. And any questions or comments, please post them below. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And I look forward to sharing with you guys more in the future. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to like and subscribe and share it on your social media platforms. If you're interested, I have started an ACL Mastermind group, which is a growing library of content centered around ACL rehab. It has exercises ranging from immediate post-op to late-stage sport-specific movements and everything in between. It's a growing library and currently holds over 250 videos. There's content centered around assessments, movement breakdowns, exercise breakdowns, case studies, and a whole lot more. You also gain access to a private forum where you can engage with like-minded people, ask questions, share research articles, and share resources. If you're interested, please feel free to click the link below. Thank you for watching.